has always been asking for diplomacy, for resolving issues, for de-escalations, for any conflict. But since the topic is tricky and very sensitive, I need to have a disclaimer, which is very well known already, that I do not speak on behalf of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but rather as an independent Saudi researcher. And I assure you that the Kingdom is seriously concerned about this.
Looking ahead to is we're waiting for remarks from the U.S. President Joe Biden. One of the measures he might announce is the release of a strategic reserve of oil and gas. The United States is a producer of crude. But will he then be, in your view, on the telephone to the King or the Crown Prince to talk a little bit about whether or not they too can help out by pumping out more oil?
Yeah, I think we have to put things into context. Last year, President Biden blamed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the fossil fuel at the climate summit. And subsequently, Francois, 1 week later, he asked Riyadh to increase its oil production to lower the prices of oil. And it was a way to throw the blame on Saudi so he can cover up his primary responsibility for all his missteps after he knocked down the U.S. shale oil industry. So
are you saying that the Crown Prince won't pick up the phone?
It's not about picking up the phone. The U.S. will always remain as the most strategic ally, not only partner, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, the current administration has made a lot of mistakes against the custodian of the two holy mosques, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the center of Islam, by calling it a pariah. So you call Saudi Arabia a pariah the moment you don't think you need it, and the moment you need Saudi Arabia, you call it a partner. Saudi Arabia doesn't like to play these games. So I think the United States, the ball is in the court of the United States to rectify the trajectory of its conception.
And if you see a gold-plated invitation to go to the White House to the Crown Prince, if he says, let bygones be bygones, let's forget about the Jamal Khashoggi affair, let's forget about Yemen for a little while, let's come on over to the White House, all is forgiven, or you are welcome. At that point in time, what will Saudi Arabia?
So I think the United States, the ball is in the court of the United States to rectify the trajectory of its conception.
And if you see a gold-plated invitation to go to the White House to the Crown Prince, if he says, let bygones be bygones, let's forget about the Jamal Khashoggi affair, let's forget about Yemen for a little while, let's come on over to the White House, all is forgiven, or you are welcome. At that point in time, what will Saudi Arabia's view be towards Russia?
I think it's not like that at all. People are thinking Saudi Arabia is somehow taking sides here and there. No, Saudi Arabia has the absolute sovereignty to multiply its relationships and to strengthen its relationships with all the world powers and all nations. And let's not forget the fact that Saudi Arabia has been the trusted ally for the United States since the beginning and the inception of Saudi Arabia, by having the golden rule, which is oil for security, and by putting down the Soviet Union, and also by countering terrorism. So
reliant on oil and gas at the time.
Yeah.
Could a scenario like that happen again?
Let's not forget also last year, or 2 years ago, at the beginning of the corona crisis, Riyadh used a shock tactic against Russia by increasing its production to the maximum to get Russia in line with OPEC plus previous agreements. Despite being upset by the move, which is Moscow was under pressure, but eventually followed suit. So Saudi Arabia doesn't want to use oil as a military kind of tactic, but to make sure that all OPEC members are following suit and working on stabilizing the energy market. Saudi Arabia can take real actions because it's the central bank of energy in the whole world.
Salman Al-Ansari, one final question for you. Of late, relations have been fairly good between Saudi Arabia and Russia. In fact, they call it what? OPEC plus, I think, is the term that's used. Russia's been involved in talks with, it's had a seat at the table at OPEC. At this point in time, which way would Saudi Arabia go? Does invading Ukraine signal a divorce or not?
I think we should ask the question to the primary affected nations, such as the EU, for example. Will there be a divorce between Germany and Russia? Not at all. Even like the Minister of International Affairs of Germany himself said, Nord Stream 2 might be excluded from the sanctions bundle. So I think the idea of divorce and marriage of convenience, and sometimes to be their friends and sometimes to go and turn against them, is not good in terms of strategic relationships. Yes, indeed. And Saudi Arabia has been traditionally having this firm position of being consistent and being a voice of reason, which is conducive towards calm, avoiding escalation, and resolving disputes through diplomacy and protecting citizens. But Saudi Arabia does not like to have fiery speeches on public.